As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Arkansas? I mean,
What?
didn't see it coming, but Arkansas snags Calipari from Kentucky. It's crazy. There's a lot of talk going on about is he running from Kentucky or I don't know. Like that conversation, I think is kind of dumb. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a change of scenery to get back in the swing of things. Sounds like they're going to be rolling out the carpet. The NIL is going to be ready to pop there at Arkansas. Like that's a huge move for them.
Did you see his video announcing it? What was going on with the quality of that thing? What version of the iPhone does he have?
I don't know. First gen, those are worth a lot of money probably somewhere, but I made it like 10 seconds into the video. I was like, okay, whatever. I don't need to hear him talk about how great Kentucky was. I get it. But yeah, it's I didn't see that whole thing happening. That's which I mean maybe nobody did, but that's pretty wild. And Arkansas's, they kind of had some moments there under Musselman, but I mean it's a good basketball program. It's been a while since they've been really in the action.
Does it feel like a win-win? I
I
feel
think
like
so.
I feel like Kentucky fans were kind of over Calipari, and Arkansas fans, I think they really liked Musselman, but when he jilted them for USC, I think they were pretty angry, and they've got to feel like they upgraded, right?
Oh, yeah, they have to. They have to. Um, and I know that recently it hasn't been as good, but I mean, I think everyone's going to get new energy. He'll get new energy going to a new place. Um, his billionaire buddy, that's an Arkansas donor, is probably going to light up the NIL for him. Fan base is going to be super excited. I think it's going to have a really good effect and probably go pretty well. I mean, for everyone. And you're right, Kentucky. It's like I don't know how serious it was. It was probably a very small percentage of the fan base, but there were some people that were upset. And well, you get to move on without having to fork over 33 million bucks. That's pretty good.
That is solid. Now, I think Arkansas basketball, it's going to be a perfect test case of how quickly you can build an elite roster in today's day and age of college basketball because they're going to spend a ton of money in NIL. And it's not like John Calipari has struggled when it comes to landing big time recruits. Now, that was at Kentucky. It's a little different. I understand that. But I think all of a sudden, other than, hey, can UConn three-peat? I think they become the most interesting story in all of college basketball next year just to see what the roster looks like because the roster is pretty much empty there. So he gets to build it from scratch and do it his way. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see what it looks like even in year one.
Yeah. And I'm guessing in year one, it's going to be very heavy transfer portal. Like he's kind of gone back and forth between the recruiting deal and going young or the transfer portal stuff. You got to imagine right out of the gate, it's going to be transfer portal heavy and maybe fill in some good recruiting whenever they can. But it's a big move. Curious to see what happens at Kentucky now.
I'm just mad that when he was walking that dog, it wasn't in that stroller.
Okay, I saw the video.
It
What's the stroller?
it's not uncommon with old dogs. So you take your old dog. I know a lot of people are making fun of him for it, but when you take an old dog on a walk, especially a small old dog, they can kind of just run out of gas and you set him in the stroller. I've
Yeah,
never done it, but I know plenty of people that go with that method and honestly it's kind of sweet. I kind of
yeah.
enjoy it. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it looks pretty goofy when you're walking your dog and like I don't want to talk about it. I'm just walking my dog, guys. Leave me alone. I know it's maybe the biggest story in sports right now, but please leave me alone. It just the optics of it were just hilarious.
Yeah, I was just gonna take the dog on a walk down Main Street. No big deal. It was pretty funny. I didn't know what was going on with that, but it does make sense. I have seen the dogs that just they lay down and it's like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going any further.
Yeah, the stroller is in case that happens. So
That's
good for you,
awesome.
John Calipari. And I think both sides win in this thing. I am
Agree.
beyond interested to see who takes the Kentucky job. I clearly a lot of guys are going to want that job, but we'll see who it is. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
I had to go with OU softball. We talked about it a little bit Sunday. It was series was 1-1, and they end up dropping the rubber match there on Sunday. And first series lost to Texas since 2009. The streak had to end at some point, and I'm not panicking. Think the team's just fine. Pitching was really good. Texas, what they won the last two games, just scoring 2 runs each. So not worried about it. But you know, you hate seeing Texas get that win.
I it made me sad. It really did because in my mind I was thinking, okay, they got the wake up call they needed. It came down to the last play of the game. It was an exhilarating finish. Like, hey, regroup, come back on Sunday, take care of business, and the the bats just aren't alive right now, Ted.
Yeah.
When you're playing big time competition, I know what they did on Tuesday. It that is what it is. But when you're playing one of the other top tier teams in the country, just got to do more at the plate.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that we really haven't had to worry about for quite a while. Different teams have different strengths and weaknesses, but it feels like during this latest dominant run that they've been on, like the bats have been the best part of what they do. So a little bit different to see the offense slow down a little bit, but again, not worried about it. I think every team has to play a little bit different role. And coming into this season, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of stress with the winning streak and all of that stuff. I mean, it's not like they're all of a sudden going to be some huge underdog nationally, but you could develop that mindset within the locker room, that people are counting you out. So see how they respond.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Is it one of those things where it ends up being a good thing in the long run?
Yeah,
Because
could be.
Patty Gasso can point to that, and especially it's your rival. It's Texas, man. So it hurts. It stings even more. It's one of those things that maybe she can use as a motivator the rest of the season. I
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly she operates when it comes to the psychology of all that stuff, but if there's any coach in the country, really in any sport that I trust to be able to use it positively, it's Patty Gasso.
Yeah. I I think they'll bounce back. They'll be just fine. I that series with Oklahoma State's going to be interesting. Oklahoma State has the series win over Texas, and that one's going to be in Norman. That's going to be big. That's going to be. I'm guessing the Big 12 will be on the line in that one. So, it's building. We've got. I don't know. I think Oklahoma State, Texas are all in the top 5 right now. Depending on what ranking you go by, uh, what system put it out there, but going to be a fun ending to the season.
I'm not worried about OU softball. I know that we were all disappointed with how the Texas series ended up finishing. I'm not worried. I'm just not. I'm not worried until I see them lose in the Women's College World Series. I'm just not going to be worried. I don't know if that's right or wrong. That's just I trust Patty Gasso in that program too much. I just do.
I will say, I mean, it's not that I wanted them to lose or anything, but it is kind of nice to have a little drama in the season. Like how's the Big 12 going to shake out? What used to there's no drama until like game 2 of the World Series final for Oklahoma. So this is a little bit of a change up that, okay, it's going to suck me in a little bit earlier.
I feel like it's possible that we're reaching, the phase for UConn women's basketball
Yeah.
when they just smashed everyone for years. And then more schools started investing money. They started taking it more seriously. They started realizing how popular it is. And other teams started getting better, and there were more talented women across the board playing the sport. I'm not saying that OU's going to go on a, what has it been, 8-year drought. I think it's been 8 years since UConn women have won. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think in a weird way, what we're seeing, like there's just going to be better competition. And I think you can point to OU's success as one of the main reasons why the competition is ramping up.
It's what always happens. Every time you have a dynasty in a sport, it makes everyone up their game to catch up. And when they finally do catch up, it's that harder to kind of regain and get the steam back rolling again to make another run. So it's overall really good for the sport,
I'm with you.
especially locally.
I would like to see them just destroy people the rest of the season, though. Let's be real.
I'd like to see them like just get it done enough to have like nobody pick them to win, the championship, and then you just go run the table in the World Series.
I I love the sound of that. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at Insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
Exploring the idea of maybe some men's swimsuits with Opolis. Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot of now we're working, we're trying to find a high quality one, but we're just, for the summer, we're working on some ideas. We're trying to get something figured out.
Nice. I like that. That'd be cool.
For my winner of the week, thought about going with OU golf coach Ryan Hibble. Sent me this excellent Masters OU themed shirt. Now, the only issue is I worked out and took a shower before we recorded, and I look at this, dude. It's not turning off. Look at this. I guarantee you some people watching this on YouTube are like, what is going on with Gabe's shirt? It's not supposed to look like this. This shirt is awesome. Thanks, coach. But I can't stop sweating. It's terrible. I'm just sitting. I'm gonna have to change shirts when we talk to Eddie. I look ridiculous.
It's going to be so awesome on YouTube because as we've been going, it's just slowly getting more and more
It's so bad. I mean, I always thought when I lost weight that I would stop sweating so much. False.
It's probably
False.
worse.
This is the ultimate shower sweat. It's like I got out of a pool. This is ridiculous. But
and the more you think about it, the more it
yeah.
happens.
And I've even held off. I have a cup of coffee that I've held off on drinking because I was like, if I drink it, it's going to make it even worse. But at this point, it's so bad. Let's take okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's just maximize this and embrace the awkwardness. Look at this. Look at the belly button. I mean,
oh yeah,
I am disgusting, but it's fine. Hey, it's fine. It's fine. My winner of the week, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams back. Now, the first half against the Kings, did not go particularly well. They were raining threes. Keon Ellis, credit to that guy. De'Aaron Fox, credit to that guy. I mean, when they hit 14 threes in the first half of that game, it was wild to watch. And I won't lie, it was a little discouraging. I was like, we got our guys back. Oh my gosh, we're down 19 at halftime. But the NBA, it can change quickly, and a 39-point third quarter will change things quickly. And loved seeing them finish strong the way that they did. They end up overcoming what I believe got out to 20 points at one point. They overcome a 20-point deficit to win 112-105. I loved watching them battle through the adversity, Ted, but I think the most encouraging thing was how Shea looked. His quickness was back, his explosiveness, his first step, his ability to stop and start, his ability to get downhill and just blow by guys and get to the rim with ease. That was the key to getting to the free throw line as much as he did. I thought he looked fantastic. Physically, was creating space in all kinds of different ways with the step back. He was back to using that shoulder, that little chicken wing, to create space with guys. I just thought he looked full tilt, man. And he ends up dropping a 40-piece in his first game back from the quad injury. And we talked about it last episode. The most important thing when they get to the playoffs is Shea and J-Dub being healthy. That man looked as good as he's looked in a long time against the Kings. And I was just, they get the win. That was awesome. Yeah, that was great. But him looking the way that he did was my biggest takeaway from that game.
Yeah. No, that's what you want. Probably, it's a long season and he's played a lot. Freshen up the legs a little bit, get healthy, and it's good to get back into the swing. You don't want your first game back to be a playoff game, right? So to be able to get in, break the rust off a little bit, get back into that same rhythm that you've had all season is perfect.
Keon Ellis hit 8 threes in that game. Yeah. It's just one of those reminders of how many good players are in the NBA.
It's crazy.
I mean, I was very angry with him with how well he was shooting the ball, but I also, once the Thunder won, I was like, dang, good for Keon Ellis. That was awesome. How about this stat? Domantas Sabonis, he had 8 points and 13 rebounds. It ended a double-double streak at 61 games in a row.
It's crazy. Crazy. He's grown into a very, very solid player. Happy for him.
I'm starting to get really, really excited about the playoffs.
What's it? How we sit right now?
Right now,
Denver and Minnesota play.
Yeah, right now we are sitting in third. Denver and Minnesota play tonight.
Okay.
So that game is in Denver. I would assume that Denver's going to get that done. We'll see. But yeah, we're currently sitting in third. Right now, we would play the Pelicans in the first round. But Phoenix still in the mix, and the Lakers are lurking. The Lakers are lurking, Ted. They are. I think it'll be one of those three. Sacramento's there as well. I feel good about all of those. I feel worst about matching up with the Lakers. But at this point, if Shea and Jalen Williams are healthy, we got our squad. Who cares, man? Let's go.
Yep. See what you got.
Home court against the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs.
Be awesome.
LeBron in Oklahoma City in the NBA playoffs. Yeah, sign me up, man. Let's go.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be awesome. And they'd have to figure out a way to adapt, and the pressure would be on right out of the gate.
For my loser of the week, thought about going with the Milwaukee Bucks. They've been struggling. Free fall may be a little too strong, but it's been a struggle these last couple of weeks for them. They get a nice win over Boston on Tuesday night, but at what cost?
Yeah.
That was Ted, I watched Giannis just crumble, I don't know, 10 times. The most encouraging thing, he didn't look back to see if someone kicked him.
Yeah, yeah.
He just kind of went down, and who knows how bad the calf strain is, but it didn't look like he crumbled quick enough for it to be his Achilles just snapping. But you talk about horrible timing for an injury. I mean, it's the last week of the regular season right now, and there's no way he'll be back anytime soon. I mean, what,
Those
2
can
weeks, 3
linger.
weeks?
Depending on how bad a bad calf can linger for a long time, and if there is some type of Achilles situation going on there, maybe it's not, a rupture, but that could go on for a long time. Not to mention that you're talking about healing an Achilles area that's like 3 feet long. It's, it's an exceptionally long Achilles tendon, and I don't know. It's the timing is not good, especially not playing well at the time, headed into the playoffs. I mean, you got to imagine it's a first round miss for him, right?
I, I know that he's superhuman. The Bucks aren't winning anything this year.
Yeah.
I almost think they should just, and if he's healthy enough, he's going to come back and play. He is, I think he's one of the most competitive guys in the league. I love how he brings it night to night. But the Durant situation, remember when Durant came back? He had the calf issue, came back. That's when he popped his Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's too much risk in it for Milwaukee. I honestly just don't think it's worth it for them.
I mean, that's why I mentioned like the Achilles tendon being so long for those guys. When you get those micro tears in it, like you've done some damage somewhere, whether it's the attachment all the way at the top or at the bottom. There's something going on there, and you're always at risk to blowing that thing up because it's so exposed. I'm
I
with you.
just can't imagine they'll rush him back.
Yeah.
And they may have to protect him from himself. But yeah, it was a scary video, and it's a bummer, man. Bucks are supposed to play the Thunder in Oklahoma City on Friday night. I was already mentally preparing to be shocked and awed by Giannis and what he
Have you
could
seen
do with
him in
that.
person before?
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him several times now, but I feel like it's been a couple year drought now because I want to say he was hurt last time when the Bucks came to Oklahoma City last year. So we're kind of on a Giannis drought, which is unfortunate because he's just ridiculous to watch in person. He's enormous.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's nothing serious and he is back. I mean, because ultimately that's what we want, right? In the playoffs, we want to see all the best players in the league competing with one another.
Yeah, it feels like Boston is just undoubtedly going to come out of the East, but would I have minded watching Giannis try to steal that series from him? No, that would have been awesome if they would have matched up in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't know. It seems like things just have been a little weird this year in Milwaukee, and now your star is hurt with an injury you just cannot rush him back from. So I don't know. Bummer. But my loser of the week, the Purdue Boilermakers. Ooh. Yeah, hey, we got an entertaining first half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we absolutely did, but then UConn just choked the life out of them, Ted. And Zach Edey, he got ended up with 37 points. I think the way that he started that game, I felt good for the guy. He for whatever reason appears to be kind of a polarizing figure. I don't enjoy watching him play. So, but how effective he was early in the game and the discourse that resulted from that, I thought that was a lot of fun. But that thing felt over with 15 minutes to go in the second half.
Yeah.
It was kind of It was kind of a dud of a championship game. UConn's just too good, man. 2 years in a row, completely different cast of characters too.
I
Unreal.
know it is it is like when you're truly so much better than everyone else, it can appear very dull and boring. And that's kind of how it is watching UConn. They're just so good everywhere. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of like wow moments. It's just clean, efficient, get stops, get efficient looks on offense. They got great athletes out there that can do it all. They shoot well, they defend really well. It's all around really, really awesome. And what is that? Is that number 6 since like
99.
99? That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they have played themselves into blue blood status. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
no doubt about it. And I I just was stunned watching that game because and credit to Danny Hurley and his players. They got Purdue to play exactly the way that they wanted them to play. They just got so spooked by the way that they were running them off the 3-point line. And it's almost like they just accepted, hey, we got to throw the ball to Edie and just live with it.
Yeah.
And Purdue is they were one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. And I understand that UConn's guards are much bigger. They're really good defensively. I'm not trying to take anything away from Spencer, Castle, Newton, Caravan even. But come on, Purdue, you got to generate some 3-point looks. You have to adjust. Like, you can't just accept that, oh, hey, I guess they're not letting us shoot threes today.
Yeah.
They made 1 3, Ted, in the title game. They shot 7 of them. I mean, Danny Hurley, I mean, that was an absolute dominant coaching performance over Matt Painter.
Yeah.
They just said, well, okay, I guess they're not going to let us shoot threes. You got to do something to generate the looks, guys. I mean, you can't just completely abandon it. And I felt like they did.
Especially whenever you're like, I understand like not wasting possessions, heaving threes, but that's if you've got other really nice options that are generating good, efficient looks. And that was just, it was hard to come by anything. At some point, whenever you're down, you've got to start firing, trying to spark a run, and the 3 balls, the great equalizer. So yeah, it's just.
I was about to lose it. And there's 3-4 minutes and they're still dumping the ball inside to Edie. He's shooting it off the glass. And that's where I was watching it. I go, I thought Purdue was a smart person school. Don't they produce a bunch of engineers and stuff? Isn't it hard to get in there? Aren't they supposed to be good at math? They just that sometimes, and this is a real thing now in today's day and age of basketball, you can't allow yourself to be out math. You can't shoot 7 threes in a game anymore. You're just putting yourself at a massive mathematical disadvantage. It can't happen. And they just kind of just let it happen, or just let UConn, I don't know, just dominate the way that they were going to play offensively. I mean, credit to UConn. They're undoubtedly the better team, but I was stunned at the lack of urgency from Purdue to get 3-point looks.
Yeah. And it's not like they weren't really within striking distance at all. Right. It's one thing if you're just kind of hovering around, you're down 8, you're down 10, back and forth, little mini runs. No, not at all. Not the case at all. Like you had ground to make up. So I don't know.
I didn't even think UConn played particularly well on the offensive end. They didn't shoot it that well.
Yeah.
Didn't shoot the 3 well, but just absolutely controlled the game. 12 straight double-digit NCAA tournament wins for UConn, and now back-to-back national champions. And I think you have to say Danny Hurley's the best coach in all of college basketball. Did it with 2 completely different groups. Utilized the transfer portal. Still To say that guy coaches hard is probably a massive understatement, but I don't know, man. I feel like college basketball as a whole is like there's a lot of parity, except for this outlier in UConn, who's just these last 2 years been head and shoulder above everyone else.
Yeah, you kind of have that. I feel like we were talking about softball earlier. Kind of feels the same way in softball to some degree. You got a bunch of teams that are really good, kind of right there on that next tier, and it's pretty common. And I think the same thing will happen though eventually. People aren't going to sit around and do nothing and watch UConn just continue to roll out championships. They're gonna try to improve. They're gonna go work on their 3-point shot a little bit, and they'll find a way to bring them down. Maybe.
They're going to go hire John Calipari and give him $5 million in NIL money.
There you
I
go.
did. I did think after the game, Hurley got asked about the Kentucky job. He basically goes, "Ask my wife."